Well, let's unbox and take a look at Cosmos Flowers by LEGO Botanicals. This is set number 11514, contains 171 pieces, retails for $14.99, and this set was provided by the LEGO Group for review. Thank you, LEGO. And that's essentially what it is. We got several different types of flowers. I'm assuming these are the Cosmos flowers. I'm not really familiar with these. And yeah, it doesn't look too bad. And here's the back of the box. This looks like these are in a vase. This looks like we get to make one of each here. Maybe more, we don't know. And here is the dimensions of the flowers, which is 23.5 centimeters or 9 inches. So that's not too bad at all. And just by first impressions, well, these look pretty interesting. Alright, let's open this up and see what we have inside here. Now, how does one open one of these up? I don't see any way to push it in or whatever. Or maybe it's under the sticker. Well, we don't know. Well, I'm going to have to rip this one open here. So we'll see here. You know how maybe this might be a 20-minute unboxing. Yep, there it was right there. LEGO, that's really smart putting that there. But don't worry, you should be able to get it by now. And that was packed kind of tight. But I can use those. And that's the whole point about these unboxings here. So, looks like we have 3 numbered bags. Not too bad. And 3 16-stud long cross axles. And these are good for making foliage pieces or things that need a long span. And that's the building guide. Now, just from experience, usually these are separate flowers, so maybe 3 people can build this. And that's the parts list right there. And doesn't look like there's a brick separator. But I think we're going to be in for a really fun treat with this one. This shouldn't take too long. Okay, so today is the 28th of May 2026. Let's turn some light on this here. And yeah, so this is going to be one of these sets that we can probably build with a partner or two. 3 numbered bags. And yeah, doesn't look all that scary yet. 3 of these. Now, one of the lessons that I had learned in the last one is we need to get ourselves a vase. So I will find me a tape measure towards the end of the video, and we'll measure these as we go. And, you know, just by first impressions, this one doesn't look all that bad. And yeah, we're ready to begin. But before we begin, these videos are not to be construed or considered as how-tos, tutorials, walkthroughs, you know, reviews. It's not professional by any means. I'm just an amateur photographer. So just treat it as such. And this is not my day job. I do this just for fun, just to kind of get away from things or while I'm waiting for other videos to process and get done. And finally, the wording and commentary is mine and mine alone. LEGO doesn't pay me to say anything. These are just my true feelings on this set. And like right now, it looks pretty interesting. Okay, now we can begin with bag number 1. And don't let the size fool you, because I have a feeling it's going to be packed full of a lot of small parts. Not too bad. At least it's got some color in there. Okay, let's just start getting going. Boy, that's just kind of loose. You know why? Because this thing is not even tightened down. There we go. And, you know, these are more sets targeted towards adult builders or mature builders. But today, I'm an immature person. And, oh, these are coming in green. Well, now I'm going to be hoarding some of those up for my tree projects. Brown's fine, but I'll take green too. Yeah, I've got a bunch of these here. Okay, very good. The thing about botanicals is that after you're done, you can use them to decorate your house, apartment, flat, condo, any other places that I can think of. Picking up some of these smaller pieces can be a bit of a chore without fingernails. May want to keep a roll of tape so you can just kind of tap the tape on it and pick these up. So yeah, one of the things I have learned before is I'm going to have to put that in there. Okay, I see how that goes. There's a little notch in there. Okay, like that. Got to make 8 of those. I need to get if I get a vase, I am going to, if I don't have one, I'll have to use a cup or something. Yeah, I got told today I was immature for watching this, or watching anime and cartoons at my age. Why don't I watch mature stuff? I said, okay. And I thought, I just looked at somebody in my house. I said, how about if I put everything that's for like just the news channels? And I have never seen these in dark pink before. I said maybe I should just block all the movie channels and online streaming stuff and you just be watching the news. Kind of kept them quiet. I thought, no, don't judge me. You know, it's either that or, you know, whatever. So I just kind of left it at that. Well, it depends. By the end of this weekend, you will need something like that for a tutorial. I think you may need it in silver metallic. So that's a hint there. Now, by the time you're watching it, the tutorial's already released. Yeah, it'll be released probably in 24 hours or so. So what I'm thinking of, it's a gardening trailer, and it's got tools and stuff like that. So I can mention that now. So there's a tutorial on how to make a gardening trailer with like a lawnmower and rakes and leaf blowers. Stuff that you'd see in a gardening trailer. And yeah. I only got about 45 minutes on this card, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to pack... I thought I was going to be done filming, and getting these in here could be a bit of a chore. But I survived. I want to just pack everything in pretty tight and start... getting going on the newer sets. Now, after I get done with this one, I'm going to clean off my memory cards. And as I'm cleaning them off, I'm going to start working on Charizard. I got a lot of tutorials that I'd like to film as well, so I will be focusing on that. I don't expect these to be perfect on here. Yeah, so I was just sitting back watching some cartoons and just the whole drama came out. I just said, well, at least, because it had a lot of profanity in it and blood and gore, and somebody was getting smacked around on there, and I just thought, well, it's better than watching beep, 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 beep. That's all I hear. And I'm just like, I looked at my bunch, I said, that's probably the first time that TV's ever heard bad words coming through its speakers before. Got all the beeping noises. Don't judge me when I'm watching. You're watching kiddie stuff. I don't know. When they're using the F word and they're pretty much like a bloodbath. You know, did I skip a page? Oh, be careful. You'll skip pages real quick. All right, so after you're doing this here, now we got to put these on here. Well, that's obviously not going to work, huh? This one doesn't come with the brick separator, so we got to be very careful. So if you're in the same predicament that I'm in and somebody says you're childish because you do Lego or watch cartoons, you just, even if it's my family, I laugh at them and move on. I don't care. 60 hours a week, I'm tired, and I don't want to think about I can care less, because what I care about is watching cartoons and not doing a thing, not doing anything. Well, this one here is being kind of stubborn. Now, you don't have to put yours in kind of sloppy or perfect, because it is nature. Let's just kind of bottom these out a little bit. I think that looks pretty cool. Put that in your hair or something. Your flowers in your hair. I'm going to grab it like this. Before we do, it's kind of cool to see Technic pieces in bright colors. Alright, so it goes like this. I'm going to put my finger there and just push that in. I don't want to put it on here and break something, so I don't really want to risk it. Not even for the brisket. And we'll feed this in here. I'm going to have to find something very small to put these in, maybe a cup or something. I don't think I even have a vase that's that big. Like these, I've never seen these come in this color too. That's a nice one to have there, because what would you use that for? And these are usually used for like Technic, what do they call them, pre-pneumatic tubes, so you can push air through things. And let's go ahead and put these in here. I could have broke the video down, but what I'm going to do is take some claws, put them in here. And every time I do these videos, there's always a new story to tell. I don't think my bunch gets it. Making fun of me just means more commentary, and somebody's going to say, well, Jay, what they find out? They find out, they find out. I'll teach them a lesson not to tinker with my emotions and what I watch. Imagine if you were doing a whole entire pine tree like that. Not sure what that's for. I guess it goes right there. But mine doesn't look like that. See what I'm going to do? Now make it look like that. What does that last piece go to? Oh, it goes at the bottom of that. Okay, I kind of figured as much. And yeah, let's see if we can get this to fit here. As you can see, got one done. I'll see if I can find a vase for these. I don't think I have anything. But that right there is what we have remaining there for bag one and this type of flower. And honestly, it's a nice bright build. Alright, now we're going to move on to bag two, which is a light pink version of the same thing, just maybe with a longer shaft. So we already know how this is going to go together. Okay. So just imagine you and your partner are putting these together. So you might be lucky and you might be able to do a lot here with this. We don't know yet. That's also the thing about doing these type of builds, is that we can see here. And it looks like there's actually more flowers than what the box is showing. Well, let's get going here. Now, I had a question asked one time, well, Jay, there's only one building guide. What do we do? Just download a digital copy and you got yourself a multi-group build. That's usually how it goes. Maybe I hope I didn't bit off more than I can chew. I try to plan these videos where I could fit them all on a memory card without having to keep swapping out cards. Now we got to do the whole shield thing again. But this time we know how to do this. Now remember, we're just focusing on the pink ones. So what I'm doing right now is I'm sticking these in here first. And start pre-sorting things. So you can see where the hole's slightly rounded. You got to shove that in there. That's if I can get it in. Yeah, I do childish things on this channel, but you know what? Hey, what the heck? I don't care what people think of me. So we got white and dark pink. So I think the dark pink's going to go on these, so we're going to start pulling out as we find them. So if this thing's got more flowers than I think, then we'll see how many people can build. So far up to 2 people can comfortably build this set. Okay. And let's see here. Now, I'm just taking my time. So when you're building this, take your time. I'm going to flip those up like that as I find them. Yeah, I don't know if I'm going to get on a Discord call tonight or watch some cartoons. Or wait till my friend gets home and her and I can hang out for a bit. And also the best thing to do is to pre-sort before you build. But here I want to make it harder, so what am I doing? Ooh, try stepping on that at night. That'd wake you up. So the only thing bad about botanical sets is they do get a little repetitious, as you can tell. But these are really meant to be built with the group. Now, I'm going to take a sneak peek. Yeah, it's built the same way on the white one. I think what we're going to do, we're just going to keep them separate here. And do it like that. Yeah, I found a couple of things to watch tonight. A couple of regular, what they call live action movies, but sometimes I want to watch something a little different. This one I was watching had a really nasty bloodbath to it. I was like, man, that's brutal. Imagine if it was real life, boy, you'd get your butt handed to you in these. But I thought, oh. What do they call it? The anime roundhouse kick. Whew, man, I tell you, I wouldn't survive that. If you ever remember that movie, I think it's an 80s movie called, what is it, Roadhouse? Yeah. Alright. I mean, so far the sets, it's okay. It's starting to get a little repetitious now. I'm just going to start sorting things until I get to the pink stuff. So I'm just setting things. Where were you when I was making the ball pit? Yeah, I don't let people bother me anymore what they say. It's like on YouTube, and somebody says, well, Jay, you get some people on here that are mean to you. Yeah, I do. So you know what I do? I just block them. It's hard when they live in the house with this. There's no block button for that. Putting that upside down so I can easily pick that up. Alright. Now those are done. Now I got to plop them on the parabola ring. This one's going a little faster because now I have experience in putting them together. I know sometimes I'll get a comment from a high school kid or something. You know, they're always afraid their friends are going to find out they do this stuff. You know, yeah, when you get to be an older, like an adult, it doesn't bother you as much because you're like, your opinions mean nothing to me. You just kind of brush them off. When family does, it's a little more personal, but there we go. Not too bad, huh? And I bet it's probably the same here. Oh, no, this one's not the same. We just shoved this one right in here. And then we got to make a couple of tiers with these. So you got to make a bunch of Now, just like with the other ones, I always like to kind of line up the square and round sides together like that. It just looks a little more cleaner. You can build this any way you want. And then this goes on the bottom here. And there you go. We just finished up this Cosmo flower here. It's a good way to learn your flower names and stuff. And, not too bad. Looks pretty good. Now we got to do a white one. So, if this is in the same bag, another person can build this. You can be both working from the same bag. Okay. Looks like we've already built enough of these. You might be able to squeeze 4, maybe 5 people out of one bag here, one build. That's not bad at all. But see, we're getting to be building the same old thing now. It's starting to get a little tiresome here. This goes on here like that. I'm going to try my best to show every angle, because I notice on flower sets like this, I always get the comments, Jay, I'm kind of lost here. Thanks you for showing me how to do it. You're quite welcome. Even I get lost. We'll get lost together. How about that? Isn't that cool? Now we got to make 8 of these. That's the only thing bad about botanicals. They do get repetitious, although they are cheaper than regular artificial flowers. Sometimes it feels like you're not getting these things in. You're just going to have to braille for them. So that's what they look like in the back there and so forth. That's what I'm doing there. Yeah, maybe I have to watch more of those bloodbath anime shows. Hey, as long as it's not real people getting hurt, who cares? Now somebody asked me what got me into it. I was watching, we have a channel over the air. Now I kind of switched to streaming, and I'm not going to advertise what streaming platforms I'm watching them on. First off, these companies are not sponsoring me, so I can't mention it. And 2, well, this is mostly LEGO. But at least it's something other than watching the news, watching grown men fight over something, what they think is good for everybody else. Okay, now we got to put the clips on here, and I think this is the most tedious part of the build here, is putting all these on. We don't need that. Still got one more bag. Let's hope I don't run out of space here. I got 29 minutes left on the card. I mean, that should be more than enough to finish this up. Boy, that one's kind of crooked. Just the angle I was at, I guess. Kind of looking at some more places to go on vacation for the summer. Someplace that's fun, that's going to be relaxing. That kind of thing. Alright, and then now we got to put them on here, just like with the other ones. Like that, or I could just show what they look like in the back in this one here. Might be a little easier for you to see. Although I can't see what's going on in the front. So it's almost easier to just do them like this. Just put it in like that and you hinge it in place. I mean, these are really relaxing to put together. Could you use these in a city? I'm going to tell you right now, not really, unless you're building some kind of giant world or a theme park. But these are more or less just, you put them around your house, you know, you could show them off, you get the oohs and the ahs, and then you move on. Once they collect dust, you could either take a mister, clean them down with like a spray bottle with soapy water. Well, this one here did not go together very well here. Just kind of wiggled them in. Or just, yeah, this is that's probably the best it's ever going to get. Yeah, I mean, you don't want to make them look too perfect because it kind of looks stale after a while. Just like with the other one. I mean, you could press them down like that, but these are going to probably break. You don't want to do that, so I'm going to put my fingers right there and just pop it in. That's probably the best way of doing it there. And then that takes care of that. Now I'm hoping I have a vase. I'm trying to think I have any really tiny vases. I don't think I do. Let's put it like how the other one was. Like that, I think. But I've been watching more of the other YouTubers. Apparently there's a lot of people in their 20s and 30s watching these cartoons. I guess I'm not the only one, so I'm okay. Jay, aren't you worried when people make fun of you? I already had that happen. I started off with doing Lego stuff and vacuum tube stuff, and now it's with cartoons, but I don't let it bother me. And then this goes here. I don't know what that's for. Look what you use for a street light. Okay, I see what that's for. Okay, and we stick this here. Well, I thought it would fit in there. Oh, silly me, I put it on the wrong side. Whoopsie. Well, hey, it's okay. You know why? I didn't glue it together. So the cross axle's supposed to go in there. Whoops. That's why it kept spinning around. Well, no, we took care of that. Now this should fit right in there. And then you stick this ball. So it looks like we just have a flower bud in there. I mean, that fits perfect. And looks like it goes parallel with this. You got to be very careful. See, I can't even get that on there. So what do? I'm not going to grab at the top. I'm going to try to grab here, and I'm just going to wiggle it. But see, it's not even budging. Now, when things like this happen, and I don't want to risk it, I'm just going to take this whole thing apart here. I can't even get that off there. That's kind of sad. How do you get something like that apart? Well, that fell apart. I thought this would be an easy 10, but these parts are sticking. Sometimes it's just easier to put on one at a time. Okay, so we'll put it on like that. And then I'm going to shove this guy back in here. Like that. Let's try it this way here. Now I don't have to go through as much hoops to do it. And then I'm just going to come right here, put my finger here. I'm going to pinch that together. That's a lot better than trying to fight that on there and then screw that back on there. I'm going to say the instructions in there are kind of weird, so I know that's probably going to help somebody out with that. And of course this goes at the bottom here to complete this flower. We're not done yet here. We're not done with that yet. And that's what we have remaining there for bag 2. And yeah, I mean, except for this just kind of protruding out. I wish there was a way we had a Y on that. But that's not too bad at all. And it's nice and bright and colorful too. Okay, now we're going to move on to bag number 3. And I want to thank everyone on my main channel and Patreon for being contributors. It's always a big help. And yikes, look at all the little pieces we're going to have to put on that. Isn't that going to be fun? In addition, thank you for those who've checked out my Rubricable profile and looked at my building guides. I still need to catch up on those, but I haven't forgot about it. And boy, oh boy, I could sure use these. Yeah, and if you like the way I do this channel, feel free to subscribe and drop a comment, turn on notifications. It's free. Oh, wow, they got the flower at the bottom moving along. It's like the bouncing ball. And yeah. Well, we got to build 2 of these. At least now we read ahead. So what I'm going to do is, I don't have any golden barbells. So now we do. So what we're going to do is we're going to build both of these at the same time. I'm going to say 5 people could comfortably build this set without any problems. Okay, so if you're looking for a group build, let's start sorting out parts here. Oh, these come in dark red. So if you're looking for a group build to do with the family, y'all can pitch in and build this set together for your mom or your grandma, or, you know, I mean, that's what these are for, to share the build. Except we want the tube at the bottom, Jay. We got to put that down there. At least I don't script these videos. I mean, I'm honest here. There's no need to script them. It makes them just kind of stale. So we'll start putting these over here. I'm looking for more leaf pieces. We also have some of these bugs too. Yeah, I mean, that's not too pleasant, huh? And some of these clips here. I'm sorting because I'm trying to find the leaf pieces now. So the best thing to do is, you know, this is a part here I was going to order, and I'm getting a bunch of them. Yeah, but if you're watching this thinking, Jay, please, 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 probably by the time you're watching this, Charizard's probably already been built. But if not, I'm trying to get to them. I just got to get on to some of the recent stuff first. But come on, Jay, I want to watch the Charizard. I know, me too, but I got to get this done. You got to have your vegetables before dessert. Well, we don't want them that close together. Something like that. Doesn't matter. Yeah, I got a song stuck in my head, like the intro music to one of those cartoons I was watching. It's nice to have a bag of chips, video games, and watch cartoons. Grown men do it too. You got to make 4 times 2 is 8, so we got to make 8 of these. Yeah, I've been working on my VTuber stuff. So I'd like to do is take one of these videos one day and have my VTuber talk in the corner. I've been slowly working on them. I should try it in one of these videos just to see how it behaves. So I already got 4 of these, times 2 is 8. So I may have to do it one day and just kind of see how it would work. You know, is it easy to import, something like that in? So what I have to do is play the video out, record my avatar talking, and then I have to go ahead and do that, which means I'd have to run it again. I'd have to see how much work's involved. I'd have to do a test run on something. That's the only way to really do it. And just to kind of get away with it here, okay, there's one on the top of this. Okay, so far looking pretty good, huh? And after that we stick a couple of these in there, well, one apiece. Okay, like that. Yeah, not too bad. So, yeah, the build seems a little boring, only just for the fact that this is built by multiple people. So, I'm not going to grade on repetitious on something like this. I've got a little soft, a little lenient, because really, these are really intended for group builds that you build with your partner or significant others. So I just don't see the need to kind of, you know, do that. So that's what one of these look like so far. And then we stick another one of these in here. And then you stick one of these little tulips in here like that. Yeah, I've been kind of messing around with the gravitational pull of doing hairstyles on my little avatar. You turn off gravity, his hair flies everywhere, so that doesn't work very well if I do it like that. Okay. And then now we got to make some more of these extensions here. So we're done with these. We're going to make 4 of them now. Now I got to find a vase to put them in. I'm just trying to think of... I'll check around the house when I get done with these here. So there's going to be a few parts of this video. That's one thing bad about doing botanicals. So I'm not going to record all that. The review on this is going to be easy, of course. Oh, wait a minute. What am I doing? We'll just do it like that then. It's the same thing. And there we go. But no, we're not done yet. You know why? I got to put a bug on here now. One of these little things, and you just snap it. Looks like it's snapped right here close to the top. Like that. Not too bad. I'm just trying to see if it'll focus in. And yeah, it's not too bad there. Not too bad at all. And this looks like it's about normal because that's it. And if I find a vase, I will put it in there. Alright, so that's what it looks like there. And yeah, I'd say 5 people for my indexing purposes. So 5 people can build this one real quickly. And let's see if we can zoom out here. Okay. I'm going to say if I find a vase, I'll see if I can find one about that big. If not, I'll see if I can find a little glass or something to put them in. And then I will get a tape measure if I find one and put those in with it. So let me go find one of those real quick. Okay, I couldn't really find a vase. What a cup from a hotel do? About 30 minutes later, didn't have anything. I mean, it's plastic and I don't have to worry about that breaking. Now, I always get questions asked, what are the size of these things? Well, your luck, I got a ruler with inches and centimeters. So this is like, what, about 4 inches there? Or let's see here, about 10 centimeters, not too bad. And the diameter here is like 3 inches, or what would that be? Roughly about 7 centimeters. All right. Now, will that fit? Now, if this doesn't work, then I'm going to have to go commando and not do anything. So, sometimes we have to go with what we have here, and I don't carry vases around like I do vacuum tubes. So what I'm going to propose to do here, yeah, and the workbench it is. Sometimes before somebody says, well, why don't I have a vase like that, I don't carry things like that here at the house. I have stuff from the 30s and 40s, but, well, even in the 20s, but I don't carry flatware or glassware. So, unfortunately, Lego, I think I'm going to have to, I'm going to get to the point where I'm going to start dinging off points for sets like this. Just merely because these do not fit in a normal vase. You know, if I had a cup like this, it's still it'd have to be very small with a lot of weight at the bottom. And, you know, sometimes I just don't have this stuff. I don't carry things like that here at the house. I thought, oh, this would be fine. It's too wide at the top. It needs to be about that big, flared out at the bottom so it doesn't fall over. So I think what I'm going to do here when I do these is maybe just tie them with a rubber band or something like that, and then when I do the picture at the top, I'll just put these at the top here. There's no vase on them. But I think that's what I'm going to do, is how you see it here, and then what I'm going to do is bunch them up like this, and then just do them like that. Okay. These are really meant to be shoved in with other botanicals. By themselves, yeah, I think Lego could have maybe included like a little vase, or we built one or something for this. I don't want to spend all night working on a 170-piece set, and I do things as... Oh, and by the way, Lego doesn't want us to put other products in with these too. That's what they specifically said. Well, we won't be able to put a vase in these anymore. I don't want them getting mad at me over it, because they've already had a fit over it a few times. Yeah, so that's it. They're done. But you do need something, you know, roughly about 4 inches deep for these to comfortably fit in there, with a lot of weight at the bottom. And I'll have to mention that in the review. I'd say build quality on these is average for a botanical set and stuff like that. Build experience, it's just what it is. Build quality, build experience, you can't drop them in a city, that kind of thing. But I think we are ready to go here. Let me see if I can kind of group these up here. And then we'll just have to take a closer look at, better not do that. I'm just trying to find a better way to put these in here. Botanicals are just a hit or miss on these. I think most people are just going to be interested in seeing the review. They're not going to care how they're displayed. In the thumbnail, I'll just build something real quick to shove them in and just show the top part right there. Because that's what I'm not care about these down here. Okay, so I think that's it. I think we're ready to roll for the review. I just wish I had something else, but now that cup will be fun. I may have to use that for sorting parts. But yeah, let's just go ahead and go through with it here. Here are the Cosmos flowers all assembled, and it's a very unique set. So we're going to take a look at each one of our flowers here as best as we can. They're pretty much all built the same way with different lengths of stems and stuff like that. This is my favorite here, followed by the pink one. And the petals do get a little out of adjustment. This is one odd set to review. It's kind of hard to hold on to this stuff. And we have one like this here with the bud on the end. Not too bad. I mean, look pretty cool. And yeah, and then we have these two here. Not sure what these are called. And no, I don't have a vase for them. I could not even find a small cup that was heavy enough that I wanted to put these in. There was just nothing around the house. Although this one here has a bug on it right there. Okay. And this is essentially what you get. You get 5 individual builds here with the 3 bags. So we're going to start the review with play value. These are just a display piece. These are not meant to be played with. They're just meant to just gawk at and look at and stuff. Not too bad. And yeah, the way these are facing right now, it's hard to review these. So there's not really a lot of play value with them. Build experience, on the other hand, was pretty fun. This was a very relaxing build, something different, not too bad. And build quality, you know, they're just your botanical set. They're nothing too special, you know, in terms of that. So these are meant to be combined with the other botanical sets. Now you do need a vase about 4 inches deep or something about 10 centimeters, and maybe no more than probably, I don't know, maybe about 1.5 inches, maybe 2 inches of an opening on the top. Or that would be roughly 5 centimeters. To put these in, it's got to be something very heavy on the bottom if you're putting these in just by themselves. Because something like a plastic cup, these are just too heavy. But these, I think, are really meant to be put in with other botanical sets. And I wish LEGO would have provided us with something to put these in. Because just putting these like this alone, it's hard to find a vase small enough. So if you're trying to find something about the size of your fist, like that, would be fine. But honestly, though, if you're just looking for something to build with your wife, your husband, significant other, partner, this is it. I mean, there's one for everyone in the family here. So everybody could do that. You could all build one of your own models. So it's pretty cool there. It's a nice little group project. It's a very relaxing project. I just wish there was a vase or something to put these in. Now, there is no brick separator with this set, and if you put a piece in the wrong way, you're probably going to be pulling your hair out. So you may have to use a brick separator with this one. I have to give it a 9. It's priced right for $14.99 for 171 pieces, I believe. It's not that bad. It was a really fun little quick group build. This would be a great little group project. But other than that, though, I can only see a use that these would be great with other botanical sets. But honestly, if you're looking for a really fun, quick group project, here you go. But tell me what you think.